Rusame reader, Crow Song! And today I will be reading to you from Take 2 by Miriorite. But before we get on to chapter 25, I would like to bring up the trigger warning, which is 2 whipped morons. Anyway, on to chapter 25, Dinner Date. They both sat at the back seat of the car, but said nothing. Occasionally, America would glance at the man next to him. If their eyes met, then they would both give each other a smile, then turn to face the windows again. Russia's manager seemed to want to liven things up a little, so he turned the radio on. The radio was merely playing famous songs from the past few years. Then one of America's songs played. Indeed, a huge chunk of his songs were big hits, so it was natural for a radio station to play his songs. Do you mind switching stations? It's a bit embarrassing to listen to my own voice. America chuckled and requested. The manager understood the embarrassment and reached out to change the station. Then Russia cut in. I want to listen. I think your voice is amazing, he said nonchalantly, and rested his chin on his palm, sending America a smirk. America glared at him, but then Russia spoke up again. But I do feel embarrassed when people watch my movies in front of me. I'll just listen to it when I'm alone. The manager felt a little confused going back and forth, so, in the end, he just changed it. On the bright side, the stuffy air has been lifted, and America decided to engage in a conversation with him. So, where are we going? It's a surprise. Russia raised an eyebrow. You could be kidnapping me for all I know. America scoffed, then chuckled in a joking manner. Russia pretended to sound hurt. You don't trust me that much? America didn't answer, and just continued to stare out the window with a smile plastered on his face. Soon, they arrived at what seemed like a very stylish and modern apartment. It had a different vibe to what America's apartment had. America's apartment seemed cozy and warm, while this one seemed like where the elite of the elite lived. Your place? He raised an eyebrow. Russia turned to him and smiled as they walked through the front door. Yeah, the Russian replied simply. They took the elevator up. Russia's long and slender fingers pressed the top floor button. Whoa, damn, your place is on the top floor? Is it not expensive? Russia merely shrugged. When they entered the room, America stared for a few seconds. It's not like he's never seen such a fancy place. Truth be told, he actually had a few penthouses as well. It's just that America had never visited his place. He remembered he pestered the Russian to show America his place, but Russia ignored his request. After years, he's finally been able to visit. The American was quite excited. Do you mind if I look around? The Russian could see the excitement in his eyes. America didn't even try to hide it. Go ahead, I'll do something in the meantime. He walked around, examining the place. It was mostly consisted of monochrome colors like black, white, and gray. America sat on the living room couch. There was a large TV and a grand piano in the room. Do you play the piano? Russia replied from the other room. A little. You can play on it any time if you want to. Treat my place as your own. America thought about it for a second, and then decided not to. Then his gaze shifted to the balcony. There was a glass wall separating the living room and the balcony. There was also a pool there on the balcony. You have a pool? Damn, you're loaded. America laughed. You are as well, Russia replied again from the other room. Well, I guess that's true. He placed a hand on his chin. America then scanned the bookshelves that were in the living room that were next to the television. On top of the bookshelves were boxes that were probably filled with more books. His gaze shifted again to the door in the room. America guessed it was his bedroom. He wanted to enter, but he felt that Russia's privacy was also important. Hey, is the room with the white door in the living room your room? Do you mind if I enter? Yeah, it is. I don't mind. Go ahead. And so he entered. America's first thought was that the room was quite big and really organized. America thought back to his small bed that could only fit one person and compared it to this big bed. I'm a little jealous, but then again, I like my apartment, so it's fine. Your room is very spacious. I like it, he complimented wholeheartedly. Thank you. Then his mind wandered off again. If we were to date, would I be able to stay here? The thought put a smile on his face. Then he closed the door. Just as he turned around, he bumped straight into the Russian. They held each other to steady themselves. Sorry, America apologized. It's fine. Anyways, dinner is ready in the kitchen. America's lips curved into another smile. Okay. The kitchen had marble counters and a spacious dining table. They sat across from each other. America admired the food on the table. There were also candles lit in the middle. Did you make this? The shorter male raised an eyebrow in curiosity. Russia replied, Yes, I did. America picked up the fork. Then this is the first time I'll be tasting your cooking. In fact, America was quite excited to eat his cooking. The American ate contentedly. The first thing that came to his mind when he took a bite was, this tastes familiar. But when he thought about it again, he had never eaten anything made by the Russian before. In the end, he shrugged it off and continued. Nonetheless, the food was incredibly delicious. They chatted while they ate, and once they were done, they sat together on the couch after Russia offered some wine. The Russian stared intently at the shorter male's overjoyed and excited expression. A pure expression without all the acting. I think you're amazing. I really like you. America paused all his actions midway through when he heard this. He froze. A whole explosion of emotions and colors surged up, and he didn't know what to say. He was overjoyed, yet absolutely unprepared and caught off guard. When Russia saw his frozen expression, he took out a book from behind him, then said, What do you think of my acting? Rehearsing the script beforehand will help us a lot. Only then did the American calm down. Oh, your acting was amazing. I almost believed it. In his voice was a hint of disappointment, but it wasn't noticeable. How about we rehearse together? Well, I guess this is a good opportunity to act romantic without ruining our friendship, America thought, then answered. Sure. Halfway through rehearsing, both of them felt like this was a horrible mistake. It was extremely hard to feign calmness in this situation, but it's not like they could just suddenly back out. Yet, if they couldn't hide their throbbing hearts and flustered expressions, wouldn't they feel even more embarrassed? America felt like he had enough, so he decided to just chug down his entire glass of wine. He wanted the feeling of drunkenness to wash over him and relieve him of all his pains. Fortunately, it did. America rested his head on the couch and grew drowsy. Russia was a little alarmed when he suddenly chugged the entire glass of wine. "Why did you do that?" Russia chuckled, feeling that America was a little childish to do that. The wine was extremely strong as well. "No reason. I just wanted to get drunk," America replied, a hint of drowsiness in his voice. He placed the glass properly on the coffee table so he didn't break it. Russia stared at him, waiting to see what happens. He has always been curious of how America acted when drunk. Just as he thought of it, he was suddenly thrown off the couch and onto the cold, hard floor. America had tackled him and fell down with him. He kneeled on top of the taller male and leaned in. Their faces were clothes, and the air around them had an aroma of strong wine that muddled with their senses. America's extremely handsome face stared at him, then his lips curved into a smile. Russia's heart fluttered, and he flushed red. He tried to push America's head away or cover his face, but as soon as he lifted his hands, America's gaze shifted to his hands. The shorter male immediately grabbed both of his wrists firmly. They were stuck in a deadlock. Russia didn't have the energy to free his hands. Then America leaned in closer and kissed him. Russia's eyes widened. It was like time was frozen. When they parted, America chuckled until his eyes curved and then collapsed. Russia stared at him dumbfounded for a few minutes before lifting him up and letting him sleep in his bedroom. He then went ahead and cleaned up the living room table. He lifted the wine bottle and checked its contents. Yeah, it's a bit too strong," he thought as he couldn't stop his overjoyed expression. A surge of warmth climbed up his face, along with a red blush. And that is the end of this chapter. I hope you've enjoyed. And just like Miriorite, reading this chapter made me feel poor. Anyway, I would like to invite you to join us on the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time, and I will see you tomorrow.